And people have to remember that when Global Hunter was first brought over, I do believe last year or the year before, they wanted him specifically to be a miler. They actually took him to New York, I do believe. They actually took him to run in a mile race there. It didn't quite work out, but they've always felt he was a miler, so we'll see if he can get that chance to shine this weekend.
Yeah, well, he's coming into this race in a very roundabout way, let's put it that way.
Yes, he is. Well, they talked about their tactic during Del Mar. They were just putting him in races and trying to see if he fit. And, you know, that Bing Crosby was kind of like a paid workout where he got a check just for showing up in that race on that particular day.
Right, exactly. But, I thought he ran a terrific race in the sprint. So,
yeah.
He's got the natural speed. And I thought his race in the Eddie Reed was an excellent race. Surprised a lot of people, but it really wasn't as big a surprise as most people thought it was, because he's always been a very good horse. Especially on his best day.
There's no doubt about it. The Oak Tree Mile is completely wide open, but thank you for your insight, Steve. We've got a great race coming up this weekend from Keeneland. It is a Breeders' Cup Challenge event. Win and you are in for the TVG Breeders' Cup Mile, the 24th running of the Shadwell Turf Mile from Keeneland. It is stacked from top to bottom, so we need some help. So with that, we check in with our colleague Michelle Yu, who is on the phone right now to help us out and give us some inside information on the field. Michelle, are you there?
I am here. Hi, guys. How's it going?
Everything's fantastic. How are you? You all right?
Oh, I'm doing good, except I am being rained on. I definitely think we're going to have a wet opening weekend at Keeneland this week.
Interesting.
Yeah, like that's ever stopped anyone from enjoying Keeneland. They
Exactly.
snowed there and everyone had a
I
great time.
I don't think it's going to stop any of the top horses running in the Shadwell Mile either. So I really don't foresee weather being a big issue, except for people in the winner's circle getting wet.
And, this information you just gave me is probably going to help out one of the horses that I like quite a bit. I love Mr. Sydney, and it appears as though if he gets a little give in that turf course, Mr. Sydney's chances are enhanced in the Shadwell Turf Mile.
I agree, and I did speak with Bill Mott when I was up in the Kentucky Cup weekend, and he said the horse is training really forwardly for this race. They tried him, stretching him out a little bit, and they tried him on the dirt, but they're going to stick to what he knows and what he's good at, and they're going to run him back in the mile. He did win the Maker's Mark Mile, Grade 1 at Keeneland over a yielding turf course, and they're going to bring him back here. He loves the mile. He's 4 for 4. He loves the yielding. He's 3 for 3. And I really think that he is the top horse to beat. Everyone's talking about Just Enough Humor being one of the top milers in America. I really think that on the grass, Mr. Sydney is going to be a form to be reckoned with.
Does it bother you that he doesn't, blow anyone off the turf course? When he won those 4 races going a mile, they were by the smallest of margins like he's doing here in the Maker's Mark. Does that bother you at all?
I don't think so. I mean, when you watch him run, he digs in and he's game. He's not letting a horse go by him, and he doesn't explode away from him, but he's right there, and he's not going to let them by him. He's just, he's a grinder, but he's really, really game. And I think the horse he has to look out for is going to be Just Enough Humor, who too comes from a little bit off of it. And I watched this horse win his last 2 races up at Saratoga. He won the Broad Book and the 4-Star Days, a little bit longer on the turf, but the way he did it was just really, really effortless. I thought he looked great. He turned for home, and I was like, oh, he's kind of far back, but he just rolls. And he's half to a champion in Dreaming of Anna. His dam is half to Kitten's Joy, a turf champion. I mean, he's bred to the 9s. And if he can handle the mile, which he hasn't run since breaking his maiden, or running his first race on the turf, he could really, really give something to Mr. Sydney, but I'm still leaning towards Mr. Sydney myself.
Well, is there any thought perhaps for a boxcar long shot? What are your thoughts, or what can you tell me about the one-horse Yorktown horse that, performed versus the likes of Cameos, and last year's Breeders' Cup Classic winner Ravens Pass? He returned kind of a lackluster effort in April, but he does appear to be coming into this at the top of his game. Whether that's good enough, I don't know. Jersey Joe is a possibility.
He seems like he's coming in good. He had a bullet work, and I always like Third Star in America, and I also like Third Star off the layoff for me. I think he might be a little outclassed here, even though he has faced better back in Europe. I still think it's going to be an outsider's chance, but if you want to look to try to make some money, I'm really, really liking Court Vision. I know I think he's 7-2 or something like that morning line, but I think he's going to go off a little higher price than that. And this is his first start of the mile. He's been off since July, and he had a little a health issue. He's waiting for new connections, and he's a useful turf horse. He's a Grade 1 winner, and he has back-to-back bullets to show that I think he's really ready to fire off the bench, and I'm looking for him to run a huge race.
This race is completely wide open, and I'm not going to ask you about the chances of the 8. Tis deja vu, because that one doesn't have a shot. But that's an inside joke. If no one gets that, that's your problem. But the Shadwell Turf Mile is the big race coming up this weekend. Michelle, thank you so much, and try to stay dry out there in Kentucky if you can.
Thank you, guys. I will. Enjoy California.
And we'll try. We'll talk to you later. Thanks, Michelle. That was Michelle Yu in Kentucky. It's obviously raining. We saw it at Turfway Park, and it's also coming down there where she is in Lexington. So we'll see if they can hold off the rain, or if they'll have a little give in that turf course coming up on Saturday.
Well, I brought up the one Yorktown because I felt that potentially could be the runner, although you mentioned Tis Deja Vu, who will in fact more than likely try and dictate that tempo. But Yorktown, Graham Motion, you know, he's not one that's going to risk into the best interest of his animal, as we found with Bulls Bay winning the Grade 1 Whitney. I just have this sneaky suspicion this may be the type of race where they may just say, hey, you're on a big number here, Jersey Joe, very capable with these types of horses.
True.
And, well, I would have to say, try and find value in this particular race, Ken.
In every single race, that's for sure. And next week, you'll see exactly how the division shapes out, as Gary Seibel and Chris Katulak will sit in and take you as we continue with the march to the TVG Breeders' Cup Mile. But coming up tomorrow, we're going to broaden our scope quite a bit. It's the Countdown to the Cup. It's a weekly preview show, and we'll talk about contenders in this year's Breeders' Cup in all of those divisions. That's what's coming your way on Friday evening. Myself and the Sarge, with his fat bankroll, will still be here.